Anytime you have situations happening in your life, always be still. Don't overreact. Most of the people that I know, they say, "Oh, I know Jesus. I love Jesus. I'm an observer." And as soon as something don't go their way, they get mad. I'm like, what the? If you overreact, folks, remember to do that. Don't overreact. And when you get mad, it's your problem. It ain't your wife's problem, your husband's problem, your neighbor, your friend, your preacher, your teacher. It's your problem. Why you think you tick? It didn't go your way or the way you think it should go. Don't have a way you think it should go. Let life just happen. Thoughts make you think that life should go the way you want it to go. And if it doesn't, if someone don't do or say or act the way you think they should act, you hate them. And then you blame them for being mad. It's the darndest thing I ever seen. But it's amazing to see it. So relax. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven. Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married, and the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good, or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't want to be angry. You want to speak up. You want to disagree with what's going on. It's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear. You won't have doubt. You won't have worries. You'll be able to see, but you got to stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature. You can't run from evil within yourself or outside of self. You got to deal with it. And you need good in order to deal with evil. And God is good. You need to return to the Father. And you'll see within you, He will fight the battle for you. And He will fight it without, because He will show you how to deal with it. And you will have no fear. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your might, along with nothing else. Nothing else means yourself, your children, your wife, your things, your ego, your reputation, and all that. You can't care about any of that. The children of anger will use it to control you. But if you love God, He will renew your mind, and none of those things will be before Him. And so when they go after you, oh, well, you may take my body, you may take my things, but you're not going to take my soul. And that's a true reality.
I just want to say thank you for everything that you do. You've absolutely changed my life for the positive, and I just want to thank you. I was 29-year-old beta, living at home with my mom, and just was living in fear and doubt, and I couldn't hold down a job. And then I found you, and I started listening. I started just being more at peace, and I forgave my mom, and I forgave my father. And it's like right after that, everything just changed in my life, and I was able to get a good job, and I moved out, and I live on my own now, and everything has just changed. And I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for spreading that message. It really is a positive message.
Amazing. That's good, man. I want people to know God loves us in ways that there are no words to express, because you have nothing to compare it to, right? Stay with the silent prayer. You haven't seen anything yet. It gets better. I read or heard that some Republicans are starting to pull their advertisements from Google or whomever, right? Because so many conservatives are being shut down, discriminated against, shadow banned, and all that kind of stuff. So conservatives are starting to fight back. It is happening to us too. I'm just taking it one day at a time. But you can go to jlptalk.com and find all the ways to support us. You can check out rebuildingdemand.com and support our nonprofit organization. You can call 800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663. And don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, share, and Sunny. And also, we have thefallenstate.tv. Ring the bell. Check out my book, For Raised to Responsibility. I show you how I was able to overcome anger. The spirit of anger was taken away from me. I had it. And as a result of having anger, I was insecure. I had doubt, worry, fear. I was in a fallen state and didn't know it. And it wasn't until I went and forgave my mother, who tried to turn me away from my father. I forgave my father for not being there and returned back to him. My spirit connected with his spirit, and through him, I was able to return to God. And I have perfect peace. Perfect love casts out anger. And when anger is gone, fear and doubt, worry, insecurity, suicidal thoughts, all of that is gone, and you are free. Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, or if you want an autographed copy, you can go to my website at rebuildingdemand.com or call 800-411-BOND. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in on this fine Monday, and it is a fine Monday to have you all back here today. I have a bit of a show for you. We're going to get into it here. No, I have not been picked up by ICE. We're still got to deal with some of all the emotions flaring about Epstein. Just a little bit here. Did Trump really promise this? What were the promises? What's the cover-up? Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Is this just QAnon for the slightly higher IQ? Is the anchor baby just part of a big cover-up? Some of you out there. Look, you could call me 888-775-3773. We could talk about it all. Is it a cover-up for Mossad in Israel? Look, if I don't want foreign influence and foreign sex rings controlling our politicians, huh? Put her there. Let's shake hands there. I just don't know about it. And you don't either. And if you do know, you could call in. If you say you know, you could call in. You could say 888-775-3773. But I do want to get into a little bit of why people care. I do agree with Jesse. It's ego. It's so shallow. I realize the so-called right-wing MAGA doesn't stand for anything good. And it's for that reason that MAGA will fade away. But what Trump woke up in the hearts of some won't. But it doesn't. They don't. It might be a competition. There may be still like a large amount of decent people. But what I'm saying, I think some of the core tenets of MAGA, what it is in the minds of a lot of people, is very shallow, and they don't stand for anything truly good. And that's even a hard thing to answer, right? What is good? People will say it's giving stuff, it's doing all sorts of things. Some people will say it's going after pedophiles, it's going after people who are attacking children. That's what's good. But if you notice, the group that stands for, and that's not everybody at MAGA, but if you notice if you just imagine in your minds, out of all MAGA, just maybe a huge clump of them, this crowd that's saying, we stand for stopping sex crimes against children. You notice they don't, standing for nothing else, they actually only stand for something evil, accusation and attack. You might agree with me and understand as we get into today's show here. It's a pleasure to have you here. We do got to deal with this. What else about this? We got to get into it. Look, allow me to get into it. 888-775-3773. All my lovely viewers on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Appreciate it. Being a member, rating the stream, doing all the things. And my viewers on YouTube, how you doing, everybody? Make sure you click the like button. Don't be rude. You're coming on in here. You're kicking it back. Click the like button. Don't be rude. And say hello in the chat. Say hello. It's nice to see everybody. How you doing? How you doing? Everything is fake. Guy. Is it Guy or Guy? Z. Lincoln. Zazen. Lord of the Pies. To Padre, him, Diddy, everybody, welcome. I'm the American Anchor Baby. And what else was on my mind here? Don't be rude. Tell me what you think about the show. So why do people care about this? Okay. You can gather the reasons, right? It's the children. It's elite people. They're strong, wealthy, powerful people. And this needs to be done. It's for justice. It's for all sorts of reasons. You maybe heard Jesse Lee Peterson during his church service, rebuildingtheman.com/church. Summarizing, I had to do a quick summary there because it's getting we're getting back and forth here. It's like, hold up, are we in church? I mean, I knew we were in church. But for the layman, they might be like, what kind of church is this? I mean, I think we even got this is an unconventional church commentary from a new visitor. That was great yesterday. It's church to me, all of it. But, at some point, he summarized it real quick. Let's just deal with this right away. And how the vast majority of people who want to see the list, we need to see who's on the list. We need to see that list. And it is true. I hear that a lot. And I actually didn't quite put this together. That people were saying, we need to see the list. Who's on the list? I mean, I guess I should have known. I've heard this, but you got to understand my mind here. I didn't quite realize it was that basic and visceral for people. They want to see who is on that list. That's not, let's deal with, I don't personally need to know who's on the list, but something needs to be dealt with. Foreign influence needs to be dealt with. It's not that minded, folks. most people don't even think like that. In fact, it seems most people didn't even think about the Epstein thing. It's just MAGA. Some of the liberals in the news, New York Times and others, are saying a similar thing. If you're not part of MAGA, the Epstein story barely made you raise your eyebrow. That's some of the talk, but where was I here? Yeah, it seems like it's a story amongst the right wing, and that they're tearing themselves apart, as they're saying, as some are reporting. So where was I? Yeah, I was just describing how people, they really just want to see that list. They want to see who's on. We need to know who's on it. It's that basic. And Jesse was saying that most of these people who want to see this, want to know this, are nosy, ego-driven people. Not for any so-called right reason or anything good. And so that was something over the weekend with Jesse. And I was thinking about this a little bit further. Look, there's this whole angle too, because, okay, maybe for others, if I may, for those out there who feel you're not heard. You're not heard. I'm hearing you right here. You're out there. You've messaged me even. You're out there and you're thinking, I don't care about the list, Nick. I don't care about who's on it. It's just there's this whole angle about foreign influence, Israeli influence. Whoa, shut it down. Tucker Carlson. It's a big name, right? Going around saying stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, whatever. Sure. Here, you have my what's the word? Endorsement, so to speak. But people are so shallow, and I really think they underestimate what it means to have like a strong person you could trust, like Trump, in my opinion. I think they really underestimate that. These are high stakes things. What was I saying? Look, these are high stakes things, and I don't know if you got it your way, maybe we couldn't have what Trump is trying to do. It's either peace or war in some of these people's minds, right? So shallow. So Trump, if he does anything that's like not peace, and yeah, he said he's going to bring peace and all that. Whatever, it's a difficult thing. And he's out there and he does anything that's not quite like that. And it's like, okay, he's a liar, warmonger. No. You have someone you trust. So if he does war things, that means he's using the tools available, but you have someone you trust doing it. So they're saying MAGA is tearing themselves apart. You're tearing us apart, Lisa. MAGA is tearing itself apart over Jeffrey Epstein. And I did want to read some of this actual New York Times article, just a little bit at the beginning. Good recap here. The Epstein files, and you got Pam Bondi holding the binder. Oh my gosh, the binder. And as it reads here, last week President Trump's Department of Justice delivered a blow to one of the foundational beliefs to the MAGA movement, one that helped carry him to the White House. This author says, in an unsigned memorandum, the department declared that there was no evidence that Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced, deceased, convicted sexual predator, maintained a client list or that he blackmailed prominent individuals for various misdeeds. The memorandum also declared Epstein committed suicide. Most Americans saw this news, if they saw it at all, and barely raised an eyebrow, but the Epstein story was part of the past. He died in 2019, but it detonated like a bomb in the MAGA universe. Pro-Trump influencers with vast audiences couldn't believe what they were reading. After all, they'd been told for years that there was an Epstein client list. Pam Bondi, Trump's attorney general, told Fox News in February that the client list was sitting on my desk right now to review. She later claimed that she was referring to the Epstein case file, not a specific client list. You notice New York Times, they don't quote the client list, just sitting on my desk part. The news is I noticed the news, for all their reporting and drumming things up and getting a story, they're careful with things like this sometimes. Even the Fox News headline does not put in quotations the client list for Pam Bondi. You had to kind of make it work. And we'll see the clip. We'll just do a little recap just for the fun. We got some time here, folks, okay? You could call me 888-775-3773. But it'll get interesting. It'll get interesting. So they're telling them about this list, and I'll agree there's been some drumming up of this or that, but it's not clear what. A lot of drumming up. Something's coming, folks. Something's coming. And we'll get to some of this timeline. You might find this interesting. But this is a little bit of an old thing. Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, it goes back 2008. You know some of this. A financier, they say, ties with the wealthy and the powerful. These accusations of prostitution all the way back to 2008. All sorts of lawsuits, civil lawsuits, actually stretching all the way back to 2008. With some of them resulting in millions and millions of payouts. You know, there's a lot of justice that's already happened in a sense. Then there's this Virgin Islands case. Now, the New York Times, this is how they describe this Virgin Islands case as the major lawsuit connected to Epstein, which turned out to be among the most impactful legal actions taken against his network, not just for accountability, but also for uncovering who helped enable his crimes and his vast network. And it was this case that J.P. Morgan Chase was implicated because they were the bank, and it was found that executives, they even named like high-level executives. I forget what the names were, but not too important to me. They got this network of executives in the J.P. Morgan Chase Bank network facilitating what is just not something J.P. Morgan Chase would want, they say. And so they settled $75 million or something like that, I forget. But you understand this network, this network, Epstein network was dealt with. I just didn't know all this, right? That they went this deep. I guess just all that's left is the list, right? But the public wants that list. Did they know that all these bankers and people connected to Epstein and all this stuff got dealt with? I don't know. Did they know this? But they want the list. And they say Trump told us that he was going to give us the list. June 2024, he was on Fox. We got the clip in a moment, too. We're going to run this montage for a moment here, that Morning Joe played. That was this, like, big smoking gun. And I think it's nice. It's a good montage. Montage? It does show some of this drumming up. And it also nicely shows Trump's full words. So we'll get to that. Pam Bondi, if you remember. And like I said, look, even Fox won't quote that. Let me, here, Fox, you can serve me ads. There you go. Bondi says Epstein client lists. Then the quote starts, sitting on my desk right now. You remember, you might have seen some of this. For posterity, we shall watch some of it. Are we going to get hit with an ad? Hold on. Does she know she's an ad? Yep, it's an ad. Just let that play for a sec, but we're going to watch her. You may have seen this. For posterity, for the clip, let's watch her say this. They're saying, she said the client list. I got the client list, the black book that they've been talking about, of the client list, of the dirty dealings, the evidence. Right? She said this adds to the claims that Trump said this, right? And here's his attorney general. It's not quite like that, right? There's the plausible deniability in all this stuff. If I may, just watch. Hold up. How do we do this? Oh, Fox. That's cute. You almost made me click that. Where'd you learn that from? Oh, you did. Oh, Fox. You sly dog. Where'd you learn that? From the Daily Mail? Little deceptive ad practices.
One of the things that
I'm about to click their play button, and they move an ad right in front of it. Oh, there you go. Cute. That's cute, Fox. I'm too smart for you. Hold on. Watch this.
I saw your appearance at CPAC with Ben and with Ted Cruz. And one of the things that you alluded to, and this is something Donald Trump has talked about, the DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So if you...
It's all that plausible deniability. She's talking about reviewing all those files, the declassification of the JFK files, all that. I know it's got people... They're real. They got their spidey senses up. I'm not
seen anything there? You said, "Oh."
I'm not making any claims on that, just for posterity here. She has responded to that. You know, it has said about those comments how she was just saying she meant all the files and we're reviewing all these things to declassify. She's since responded to the video even missing a minute. They released this video, right? It's an hour long. It's missing a minute. She's saying all the videos from this camera or this system have this minute missing, and we're working on proving that as well. Well, we'll leave it to that. But you could tell me where, because you guys are experts, right? Some of you, you'll have to tell me. I mean, I'm willing to hear you out. How that is just absolutely wrong. Hey, whatever. Here's what I wanted to say that I think was just different. Just kind of different thinking here. This notion of a client list. Isn't that kind of shallow, actually? Think about it just for a second. You're telling me there's some dossier, some black book that has a detailed, transactions? Detailed what? Transactions of what this rich and powerful person did. You're telling me this person recorded illegal things like that, this Epstein guy? And I'll tell you in a moment, I'm not just coming up with this, you know. There is a so-called black book. It's just his client list, though. It's not even a client list. It's just his, call it what? Sure, it's a client list. But it's a contact list. And yeah, it's got all these names and it's scary, right? And it may be for bad reasons. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying that this list, there's already a known list. It's in the hands of the FBI. More on this in a moment, but it's a contact list. Okay, that's what it is. This is like a known thing. This has been reported on. 2009, we're talking about. Just think about how shallow that is. That there's some black book with like the recorded crimes that they all did. This is all conjecture. This is all conspiracy. Now, from what I could tell, look. Allow me to explain and show you this cut that Morning Joe put together of all the MAGA promises. The MAGA promises. I thought it was pretty good. I want to watch this with you guys just a little bit here. Dan, starts off with Dan Bongino. This is May 2023. Can we full screen this? Are you an unusable website, Daily Beast? You guys. We cannot full screen that. We cannot close their ads either. Okay. The internet is a usable place.
That Jeffrey Epstein story is a big...
This is May 2023. Got Dan Bongino. He's got his show at this time. And he is saying this is important.
Deal. Please do not let that story go.
Who has Jeffrey?
So that was Dan Bongino. This is September 2023. This is Glenn Beck. What was this? Glenn Beck? Who's it? Am I getting this guy right? Yeah. Wait, no, I'm not. Wait, what am I talking about? That's that guy, right? Yes, it is. Okay. We got Glenn Beck talking to Kash Patel, 2023, September 2023.
Epstein.
Deal. Please do not let that story go.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
But who? That is I mean, there's...
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
The FBI, Kash Patel says so confidently in 2023. Who the heck is Kash Patel in September 2023? Not in the government, not in the Trump administration or the Biden administration at this time. He was around this. he was around these so what? He was around these conservative circles talking about the Epstein stuff and really drumming it up like heavy. This is like 2019. In fact, remember for a moment that Epstein was not a name, it was barely a name, if at all, in MAGA before 2019, right? 2019, arrested. It's like, this guy's arrested. You hear about this stuff that he was accused of 2008. Oh, who's this guy? A lot of people are just learning. And it's like, what? It's the wealthy elites. Oh, it's like the sex stuff, the island. And then he dies. And it's like, Epstein didn't kill himself. Epstein didn't kill himself. The refrains on the internet. That's post 2019. So he's going around on the shows talking about it. Before 2019, I mean, he was born in 1980 in New York, goes to law school, becomes a public defender, then has a DOJ career, 2012, ends up in National Security and Counterterrorism Divisions by 2013, and it seems to have a career in intelligence here, doing stuff. Ends up in the Trump administration, and it kind of fits in my mind. And what is it that I'm saying here? Look, when he's talking about a black book here, about the FBI, who has it? Glenn Beck is asking, what is this black book? There is a real and reported on so-called black book, but it's not necessarily what Patel is implying here, or others were implying in all this time. And I was never even interested in this stuff. But we're getting into it, right? There was a physical contact book maintained by Epstein's staff. It was leaked in 2015 via Gawker. It listed hundreds of names and phone numbers from billionaires and celebrities to socialites and politicians, Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Donald Trump, Alan Dershowitz. It was compiled by Epstein's former butler, Alfredo Rodriguez, who gave it to a reporter and went to jail for trying to sell it to attorneys. The FBI has this book as early as 2009, they say. This is AP. So when Kash Patel said this FBI has this black book, they're talking about an already known story of a contact list maintained by this staff member. You understand? The client list, release the client list. People, I'm starting to realize that people really sitting there thinking that there's some list that shows, and there might be, but I don't know if this was ever claimed. It seems to me it's becoming quite clear that you have a crowd of people, and maybe even drummed up, cajoled on by some with spotty knowledge, with enough conjecture to be able to go on a show and do stuff like this. You understand? And you got a crowd of people saying, wow, release the list of these pedophiles who, it's like, you think there's a list that detailing the transactions of them doing pedophilia? Like, are you even thinking? You deserve to be, like, lied to, in a sense. So what else about this? It's just stuff I was thinking about. This Epstein list, right? It's just kind of shallow thinking. There's no client list. It's just this allegations of this network and criminal activity. Okay, seems to me, unless someone's gonna tell me there's evidence and all that. So where was I? Look, I was just interested of this black book notion and this notion of this client list and this pushing by Kash Patel. I found it interesting, and I think he's tapping into a narrative there. Okay, I don't think he knew, in my opinion. So what else about this? That was just an interesting thing. Let me just let this Morning Joe clip play a little bit more.
What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list?
Again, this is December 2023.
Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are. Would you
So he's super into this. You understand? You had Dan Bongino. You had these people around Trump being this voice or representation of these voters and people in the internet, people in the public who feel this strongly about this stuff and have been feeling strongly about it since 2019. And I don't know if it's natural. It's just they saw it in the news and they got into this thing that is the like elite that run things. And I guess I'll let this play in a sec. It's just this is fresher on my mind right now about what's interesting about this to me. You know, I notice that what a lot of the people are saying about it is just conjecture. What they're blaming people about, like Trump saying he would promise to release him, and here you understand the setup here, right? With Dan Bongino, with all these people saying this stuff, the clamoring from the crowd, some in the crowd saying, "Hey, you got to do something about this. This is the pedophile elite running things." The same people who want to COVID us and steal, right? They got this whole narrative, and I'm not saying any of that is true or not, but with this setup, with this emotional kind of setup, you now have Trump being asked a question like this.
Classify the Epstein files.
By some dumb, she should be at home. Some woman here, she's like a so-called conservative, but is probably, I get the impression she's easily conspiratarded by internet stuff. She's some MAGA woman.
Declassify the Epstein files.
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
She's talking about, so she asked about declassifying stuff. He's like, yeah, maybe. There's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. No problem. I didn't hear any promise, personally. But what else?
It's not about Epstein or 9/11 or JFK or RFK. It is, but it isn't. It's about a bigger thing.
I didn't understand this quote.
If you're lying about that, you're lying about everything. Who's on the Epstein tapes, folks?
But obviously it was very important to some of these people.
Who's on those tapes? Who's in those black books? Why have they been hiding it?
It's not. It turns out they know what's the FBI has a black book. They know who's on it. So when they're talking about reveal it, it's reveal it to us. So we know who's on the list.
This is something Donald Trump has talked about.
And then the Pam Bondi clip. Okay. So, you where was I here? I was just thinking that when you see all these articles saying the MAGA world is tearing itself apart, it might be a little overblown, but I think it's somewhat interesting to consider how I think the reason for that is because we don't stand for anything good in large part. Yeah, Trump is a great example, and we want these basic things like politicians that actually care about America, like, wow, what a crime. These basic things to be done. But when you look at a large part, in my opinion, of the right wing and MAGA, their worldview is, well, the Democrats are just so evil, right? And they're evil, look, but as evil as anybody else, right? As evil as the political system allows, as evil as the weakest person in America, like. But they'll say, they got this worldview. It's like, and the right wing was making fun of this. Remember, they were making fun of this some time ago. They called it QAnon. This notion that there's somebody in the government secretly informing us, the public, of the secret going-ons of the government. And it was all this, it was wild stuff. And the right wing largely saw it as a dumb thing, right? As a you could easily show how it's just false stuff coming out of this conspiratorial view, whatever. But yet with this, it's this world, it's the Democrats. If they're evil enough to hide pedophile elites and going to some island, then they're the ones, of course, they'd COVID and they'd steal 2020. And it's not really thinking in reality, because some or all of those things could or could not be true, but you're never going to find that out with these people because they got this mindset. They got this kind of crazy mindset where it's just like we stand for something good. And what is the good thing we stand for? Going after these people. It's very shallow. It's actually very shallow. It doesn't make you a good person, actually. If what you stand for is taking down pedophile elites, that actually doesn't make you a good person or someone that stands for something good. You know, good lasts. Good is simple and good lasts. So I do think about a man like Trump where it's just it's simple good things that helps everybody. You know, like dealing with the border, right? You think, wow, you might think to yourself, I guess I get to pick what's good or not, but consider what I mean here. It's not about going after someone. Like, this is is going to materially improve the lives of everyone. And then, for example, this influencer world drumming up this Epstein thing, and it comes to Trump. I get this impression he's like, you know, I mean, I got these guys, Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, they're smart guys. I mean, they seem to bring a lot of support for me through them. This is what I'm thinking I'm thinking out loud a little bit, my opinion, what might be going on. I got these guys, and you know what? I'm even going to put them in the administration, and like, they let them, you know, they keep talking about this Epstein thing. Let them handle it. You know, it turns out a little different, maybe. That's where it's a big question mark, I guess. Where was I going with that, though? Oh, yeah. And then it turns out a little different. And then they all turn on Pam Bondi and all that. And it's the easiest thing to be able to go out there and say, yeah, Pam Bondi, damn, but you guys came at me with this, fire these guys, blah, blah, blah. And then he doesn't. He defends Pam Bondi. She's doing a great job. What's going on with my guys, my gals? I guess he's leaning into the daddy thing, maybe. All this to say what? I mean, that's standing for good, right? That's just like, why would he turn on Pam Bondi over something that most people are just misunderstanding, even if it would be politically and strategically positive? It would be it'd be a bit of a Band-Aid, but it might work for some in a sense, right? If we fire her, his poll numbers might go up right tomorrow, but he doesn't think like that. So I'm trying to talk a little bit about what's good, right? What people think is good. They think standing for protecting children is the most important thing ever. Then protect your own kids. You know, we need to protect kids. That's the most important thing in the world. Protect your kids. Do it. Prove it. I think people that, right, isn't this true about life? If you have to say something, you have to be loud about something and desperate about something, it's because it's not happening, you're not doing it, and this is proof of that. This is your desperation. We need to protect the kids. Then protect your kids. I think a good way to avoid your children being part of a sex ring, I mean, come on, folks, underage prostitution ring, which I don't even think the law would agree with me, because underage prostitution, like, even if an underage person under the law, the underage person makes a deal with you, says, yes, no, I want to do this, give me money and I'll do this, that person is a victim. You understand? And that may be true, right? To some respect. I mean, but where was I? Look, if that's so important, then do it. Protect your kids. I think there's already a pretty good way to avoid your kids becoming part of an Epstein Island sex thing. Raise your kids better. It's something you could do there. Look, what else was I thinking about this? Why don't these women accuse this list, right? There's release the list. Isn't the list, now this maybe this is going to be stupid or something. Just thinking out loud here, right? Just shooting out the hip. These women, they're all these accusers, right? They came out, they accused Epstein, Ghislaine, and even others, right? Wasn't Prince Andrew like implicated or something like that? But that's all. Did we hear about anybody else? Not that I want to hear about this, but the world is saying we need some list. MAGA is apparently saying we need a list. Show us who was on it. It seems like that power seems to lie in the hands of these accusers. I mean, wasn't Prince Andrew in one of these things? Why can't these release the list? Release the list. They seem to have it in their heads. No, I mean, what am I saying with that? I think the public is misunderstanding something here. Riled up by emotions. And, being riled up by these emotions doesn't let you think clearly on this. What else? What else? What else was I thinking? Oh, yeah, and Ghislaine trying to get out of all this. Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, is ready to reveal the truth, apparently. Allegedly. Let's duplicate this. That's the news. They're saying that she might say something here. Ghislaine Maxwell is willing to speak in front of Congress about the Epstein files, sources tell Daily Mail. Maxwell, 63, the only person behind bars, serving 20 years on child sex trafficking charges. Additionally, Epstein's victims alleged they were passed around, etc., blah, blah, blah. Now, a source said despite the rumors, Ghislaine was never offered any kind of plea deal, and she would be more than happy to sit before Congress and tell her story. Isn't that rich? She's ready to tell her story. That's what, if you're paying attention at all, people who are quite guilty love to tell their story. I know Lincoln Lewis. I know if I might have to even do it again to get a better clip. Man, I have all this stuff that I wanted to put together. Just never enough time. But I understand Lincoln Lewis. Appreciate it, though. 888-775-3773. The delivery. Lincoln Lewis in the chat's talking about the delivery here. But the points are all... I was sincerely thinking about all this stuff. What else did I want to say here? Ghislaine here is trying to get out of it. She's saying she wants to tell her story. Ain't that rich? And rumors are the allegation allegedly lamenting that she didn't get a plea deal here. But what's this plea deal? I mean, the accusations from these people in the civil lawsuits and the federal lawsuits and are that she was part of this whole thing. I mean, facilitating this whole thing. She's really an integral part, as women are, in this underbelly of this sex world. Okay, this underbelly is facilitated by women. It wouldn't trudge along without them. And so she wants to tell her story here. She wants to tell Congress her story. To get out of something here, I mean, that's rich. Don't you think? All right, what else? All right, what else here? Epstein list. 888-775-3773. I want to get to my calls, my super chats, and all that. I think that's it there. Blah, blah, blah. How about we get to David out of Ocala, Florida? Appreciate your call, sir. You're on the air.
Hey, Nick, how you doing today?
Just fine, man. Go ahead.
Well, this is gaslighting at its best, man. I mean, these people, this is just crazy. And let me, this kind of stuff started a long time ago. I'll give you an example.
What's gaslighting at its best? What are you talking about?
The whole thing about the list. You're never going to find out who's on that list.
What do you mean?
Because
What's
people are
gaslighting?
corrupt.
What are you talking about?
The Epstein list. You'll never find out who's on that list ever.
I mean, apparently, you saying I won't ever find out?
No, we won't. We won't. They won't never. They won't never let us know who's on that list. And I knew they would never reveal it.
And you want to know who's on that list?
I don't really care, but it's just the point. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
what's the point?
That they were gonna reveal who was on the list and pumped everything up. I want to know. It's like when they fight.
Who promised they would reveal the list?
Well, I don't. Maybe they didn't promise it, but they insinuated that they probably would.
Who did?
Get a hold of it. That Cash Patel guy and a bunch of people.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, sort of insinuated. What did he? I mean, he definitely heavily called for it to be released. Heavily said that there was existence of some black book. The FBI has it, and then he's on the administration, and then he's saying, "Hey, now I'm here, guys." Turns out, he's saying the conspiracy was all conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's what happened.
Well, what's quite interesting is that girl Virginia,
which he may be lying about, but that's clear. Isn't that more accurate than what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean,
he wasn't promised. He wasn't going around saying Cash Patel wasn't going around saying I promised to give you some lists. He was saying there is some lists. Let me get on. Whatever. Sorry, maybe now I'm splitting hairs.
Might not have
you
been
were
just
saying,
him,
go ahead.
There was a lot of news media on it, and that girl, isn't it quite interesting that girl, Virginia Gruffet or whatever her name is, died just recently before this, supposedly committing suicide.
And why do you say supposedly? You're saying what's interesting about that?
I don't think she probably killed herself. I think they knocked her off.
So you're just full of half facts and statements, not really sure, but you've already concluded a whole worldview out of this.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not, because listen, I've been, you got to realize I look back in the past, okay, and I see how these people operate. It's like when
people?
Robert, the people in our government, the people
what are you talking about?
The powerful people in our government, the way they operate and the way they get away with things.
And what do you mean? Now what are you talking about?
Like here, I'll give you an example. Robert F. Kennedy drove a car. Huh?
Yes, people get away with terrible things, I'm sure.
Yeah, Robert Kennedy drove off the side of a road, off a bridge, and killed a girl that he was probably messing around with, and just left her there overnight. Went home and come back the next day, and they didn't do anything about it. That Chappaquiddick thing. So this, they lied about Vietnam to get us into Vietnam.
Did you just make that up?
No, that's the God's honest truth. You can look it up. The girl's name was Mary. Her name was Mary Jo Kopechek, something like that. Anyway, happened a long time ago.
And so, what's your point?
Is that they lie to us on a continual basis.
Who does? The government?
The government and the news media.
About what?
About all kinds of stuff.
I'm sure.
They lied about.
You know what else, man?
What's that?
Guess what? You know what else happens in the world? Powerful people in high up positions, they lie about things, bro. People with lots of power, David, bro, listen to this, bro. People with lots of power and responsibility lie about stuff. Can you imagine that?
Right. Yeah, that's because they're not.
You know what I'm saying, bro? That's what you sound like. That's how you sound. Not to be not attacking you. It's just that's what you sound like.
Well, that's because when you see how they lied to cause things to happen, okay, and to manipulate. Have you ever seen those news montages where they're all saying the same thing? Like they got 75 different news channels, and every one of them saying the same narrative: Russian collusion, or terror alert elevated. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how old were you back when after 9/11?
Why do you think that is?
Mind control.
That's your only answer to that?
Well, when you repeat the same thing, the same narrative over and over again, you're trying to brainwash people into believing your narrative.
No. But why is it that all these news stations seem to get a memo and do push certain lines for certain stories?
Because they're told what to do. They're told what to say.
But they're just told by a shadowy
Well, it runs downhill. I mean, there's only like was like 5 or 6 major networks, so it was pretty easy to.
Right. There's only a couple
do
of
it.
major networks, and there's just a handful of owners essentially, and they have their thoughts and stuff, and some of it is strongly supported, and some of it is just softly supported on their networks, and you could kind of see this if you pay attention. Isn't that like a clearer statement than like?
Well,
I just know how
what
they
I mean
lie
is,
about
look,
stuff.
watch this. Back in the 50s, they had these kids. They did like drills, like nuke drills. That Russia was shooting off bombs. Hop underneath your desk. Then in the 60s, it was Vietnam. We got to stop communism. And then in the 90s, it was Iraq and weapons of mass destruction and all that. And then across the screen, the bottom of the screen, they had terror alert elevated. I mean, going on for a long time. And that's what I'm talking about. They try to control the narrative. And that's what they're doing right now. They're controlling the Epstein narrative. Yeah. They don't want nobody to. How did they put this Maxwell girl in jail without a list of people that she supposedly, that stuff that happens? You follow what I'm saying? None of that was brought up then either. They just they railroaded that poor girl.
So you think that you need some list to put Maxwell in prison, and this list is what? Tell me what this list consists of. First tell me what you think this list consists of.
Well, I'm not talking. How did they prove that?
No. Tell me what you think this.
Without people?
Tell me this list that they have that they used to put Maxwell in jail. What's this list full of?
Well, they used that girl, the Virginia Gouffet girl. I mean, that's what really.
What's
probably
this
got
list
her put
full
away.
of that was able to put Maxwell in jail? This integral key.
Some kind of evidence list. I mean,
and what is this evidence list? Tell me what you think it is.
Well, it was people. It was names.
Right, but like what? So this list has what? These names and what? Besides the name shows their crime? What do you think is on this list?
I have no idea. I just can't believe that this girl got 19 years in jail, and there's no names of people except for that, but a few girls' names. That she supposedly sex trafficked these girls and brought them. I'm not saying what she did was right or anything like that. It's just
no. I'm not. I'm just saying you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, no. There's one person in jail over this thing, and there's people on the news media that has been in the jail that Epstein was in, and they said there's no way he could have hung himself. That's what I'm talking about, okay?
And I'm just saying you don't know what you're talking about.
Huh?
And I'm just saying you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, maybe I don't. It's just think about it, buddy. I mean, do you.
So then why say things you don't know?
Because if somebody, if people don't stand up, they're just going to keep.
But stand up to what? It sounds like you don't know. You must know before you. Wouldn't you want to know before you stand up to something? Do you make a habit of this? Do you stand up to things only half knowing things in life? David, is this how you operate? You just go on a whim? You're like, that's my new belief. That's what I do?
No, you get older and you look back at stuff like this. I'll give you an example. You look back and you start thinking, man, I really don't think we ever landed on the moon because we never went back.
Okay.
You get where I'm coming from? That's the thinking I'm at now at 59 years old because it was such a big deal. And now it's
that's
nothing.
Pretty silly thinking, I think. I mean, you're telling me you're telling me your thinking is not to be trusted. That doesn't sound reasonable.
That's okay. Think about what I'm telling you.
I am. You're telling me we have not gone back to the moon, and so thus we never went. That's just not logical. That's not reasonable.
Why would we only go one time?
There could be I can imagine a number of reasons here as a layman who knows nothing about that stuff.
Yeah, well, look into it because it was probably fake. That's what I'm trying to tell you is they're playing people, and they've been playing people for a long time. And once you see enough of the games,
but if it's so
played,
clear, you could explain it, and you can't. So
no,
because you don't know, and you agree with me that you might not know, and I'm just here wondering why would you say things that you don't know? That's what's interesting to me. This moon stuff and all that, I don't care about all that. What's interesting to me is why would you say things that you don't know?
It's just Well, I mean, I believe. How about this? I believe the world's round. It's not flat. You got all those people out there saying it's flat, and they don't know for sure if it's flat. Now, do they? It's just my.
So why would you say something you don't know?
Well, you can't guarantee nothing but death, man. That's about the only thing you can guarantee: death, heaven, or hell. There's three things you can guarantee. The rest of this, who knows? I'm just trying to tell you, listen, don't trust what you're seeing 100%. You get what I'm saying? Because if you do, you're making a mistake. How's that? I'll just leave it at that. All right? Maybe when you get a little older and you look back on all the stuff that they cram down your throat, okay, like COVID and all that, you got to get the shot and all that junk and, get a
What is it that you think I'm
booster.
saying, though?
I think you're just saying that you believe everything they say. Do you?
Tell
Do
me
you
what
believe
you think.
everything
Tell
they
me
do?
what you think I'm saying.
I think you're saying that I'm off and that you believe everything that the news media tells you.
And
unless
why do you
know
say
for
that?
sure it's not true.
And why do you say that?
I don't know. I just that's the feeling I got from what you said to me. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you, man. I mean,
No, I mean,
I'm
you
not
said
trying
a
to
claim.
argue.
You said I believe in the news media, but you're saying you have no reason. You're just pulling that out. I'm giving you the floor to tell me what
No,
you
I
think I'm
said,
saying,
do
so that we can
you? I
understand
said-
each other.
I meant
And then
to-
I gave you
meant
the
to
moment
say,
you
do
said, I think you're saying that you believe everything the news says, and I'm just tell me why you said that. Well, why'd you say that?
Well, let me ask you this: do you believe?
No, why'd you
in
say that?
everything?
Why'd you say that I believe in everything the news says? Did I say something that gave you that impression? I'd like to maybe respond to that, sir.
Well, you sort of contradicted almost everything I said. Like I'm.
Well,
like,
I mean, you weren't clear in
making
literally
things up.
anything you said. You didn't give,
I was
and you
pretty
agreed with
clear.
me when you said I may not know, Nick. And so,
You can't understand.
was I wrong?
That
Did you
told
not say you may not know?
Yeah, but of course I don't know 100% facts about everything. Okay, nobody does. I mean, except But let me ask you this: I mean, can't you understand where I'm coming from? That our government's been playing us for freaking over.
Yeah, I totally
probably
understand that.
60
Look,
years.
No, look, I get that. I can understand
Okay.
that the government lies and all this stuff. Look,
right.
This may be confusing to people. This is what a person, like, you guys think that maybe you guys think this is how shallow people are. Now that we've come after a few years of censorship or whatever, a free speech person, you guys think a free speech person has to think this certain way, and they would be against Epstein and saying that it was Mossad. And if you don't, you're basically you don't have free. This is what a person who thinks freely and really believes this talks like. It sounds like this. It sounds unclear and unsure. It sounds a little maybe strange, but on the few things I am being clear on, it's like I don't care about Epstein like MAGA says I'm supposed to care about.
I don't
It's
care
clear
about it
Trump did
either.
not promise anything. Maybe there's some kind of cover up or of something, but I think whatever it is goes way far above the heads of 90% of the people talking about it, calling my show about it. I think you have proven that it's obviously way above your head and purview. If you just got to rewind this call to realize that you agree with me, and so that's what I'm saying about it. That's what I'm saying about it. And
Well,
if Israel's
look, the guy
involved, get him. Trump, I don't know, get him. What the heck do you want me to do about it?
Evidently, the man was a very bad person. Okay, all right. He was not a good guy, Epstein. All right, to treat women like he did, and just he was a freaking, nut job. Okay, so now he's gone. Okay, he's dead, and he dies in a prison with 2 guards that fell asleep or some bull crap. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. It's just too messed up. All right, there's no way he should have been able to hang himself in that prison. Okay, they killed him.
Why do you say that?
all right?
You don't know that. No way at all.
Okay, 99.9%.
But look, I'm not here to
he
argue
didn't
that
kill
with you,
himself.
though. Here's the thing. Again, when I'm not here to argue that with you, though. If you notice, I'm not arguing that at all. I'm not saying he killed himself, and I'm not saying there is no client list and he did kill himself. Don't question that. I mean, if you're saying that I said that, and you did say that I said
No,
that,
I
you
didn't
implied
say
that
that
I
you
said
said
that
that.
by saying that I believe what the news is saying. If you're saying that I said that or implying I said that, you haven't been watching today's show, man. You just called in to talk
No,
about this, which is fine.
no, Nick.
But you haven't
Nick,
been watching
I
because
asked
I'm
you-
not
I
arguing
asked
that
you.
at all. Get him, Trump. Get Israel if you have to. I don't know about all that.
No, man, what I said, do you believe everything that the news media feed to you? That's what I said. I didn't say you do. I said, do you, like the question, do you really believe everything that
No,
these
you
people
didn't
are
say
telling
that.
you?
No, you didn't. You said, I think what you're saying is that you believe everything the news is saying, and that was fine, and I gave you the floor to explain
Okay,
that.
well, then I
And
made
we're
a
just
mistake,
rehashing it because
okay?
you brought it back up, but that's
Yeah,
all that
I'm
happened. That's
making-
all that happened. No, nothing besides that.
Well, I'll tell you something right now. I don't believe that 9/11. I don't think that. I believe that was the biggest inside job that you ever saw in your life. Okay, right in front of your face. All right, and that's where I'm coming from. Okay, I didn't buy that junk.
I've heard
from
some of
day
that, man.
one.
Can you call me back on that? I'd hear you out about it. It's just a totally different topic. But yeah, 9/11.
No, I know. I know.
I've heard some of this stuff. I'm willing. Can you call me back on it? I'm willing to hear it.
Yeah, I'll call you back
because
one day
I've
about
heard
it.
some of that. I'm just not familiar. I'm not that familiar. I know that they danced out there.
All right.
but I just
All
don't
right,
know.
good
I
enough.
don't know. But you could call me back on that.
No problem, man. Have a great
All
day.
right. Thank you, David.
I see you. All right, bye-bye.
888-775-3773. And they danced, right? Dance like David danced. Woo. Okay. Let's see here. We're going to get to more calls here. 888-775-3773. Yeah, I mean, you guys are thinking, no, I'm not thinking, I may, in a bumbling way, speaking too freely about Epstein, I may sound like certain things, but I'm not saying at all what you guys think I'm saying here. Call me, 888-775-3773. What narrative am I pushing? Don't be, have some decency. Go get on the line and tell me what is that? Because I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see here. Calvin, Los Angeles. Appreciate your call. You're on the air.
Hey, Nick. How you doing, man?
All is well, sir. Thanks for your call.
Excellent, man. Excellent. Thanks for picking up. Thanks for being there. We met yesterday at bond service. I came in just after 10:30. You were there at the front desk, man. Shook your hand. It was great. I wish I had come up to you afterwards and said thank you.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure meeting you. Remind
Thanks,
me,
man.
Calvin.
Say again?
Remind me, Calvin.
Yes, sir.
You came in right at the beginning.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
10:30.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually embarrassed to say, man, I saw people standing outside. This is how much of a big wuss I am, dude. I was standing outside. I saw people gathered outside, and I said, okay, not yet. I'm going to wait a second. I came in right after the initial group of people, man, but I'm glad I finally came. I was just telling Jesse yesterday as well. I told myself 2 Sundays ago, I'm absolutely going. I'm doing it. Then I didn't. Then last Sunday, I even came to the door and turned right around, man. I walked out. I felt good about myself just for getting to the doors, but I didn't go in. And this past Sunday, just yesterday, finally went inside, man. Had an amazing experience, dude. It was really awesome. It was what I hoped it would be, but I was so afraid to, I guess, be seen a little more, come closer to the truth, man. And the only narrative you see me pushing, Nick, is just to think critically. Don't believe everything you're saying. Man, that's all I could say about it, dude. I've been listening to your show a little more recently.
Thank you.
Of course, dude. Of course. Yeah, I'm just calling to show some appreciation. I wish I had more to say. I don't want to just come in and gas you up, dude.
Well, no, man. Thanks. It was nice meeting you, Calvin. I appreciate you tuning in, man.
Likewise, bro. Likewise. I wish I had stuck around a little longer after the service, but I'm not much of a social guy anyhow. I really appreciate you guys' shows, though. Just having you on in the background. I'm in between work right now, man, so it's a great way to just have something on in the back for some positive, some critical thinking. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, man. It's really refreshing, too, because you seem like a younger guy. I'm 32 myself. I'll be 33 at the end of the month. And yourself, Derek, Joel, man, it's just really cool to see younger guys thinking critically, adhering to the truth. It was something I was telling Jesse yesterday, too. It's something I felt like I knew as a child. But as I get older and I let the world bog me down and all these crazy new information, and then I start focusing on the wrong things. And, man, about this, to be a little more current subject about this Epstein stuff, there's a more cynical side of me that's like, did they do it? Did they not do it? I got to know. And I'm like, why do I have to know?
Did they
why
do
am
what?
I concerned about that? I don't even know. To be frank, man, I
No,
don't even know.
it might be a good question. I just don't know what you mean.
I think the
who's
Epstein
they
files have
and do
something-
what?
I think it's so general, and this is why I feel silly for even thinking too hard about it, or not thinking critically about it. I think the Epstein files have. This is just a total generalization. I think most people that even have a comment on it, like myself having a comment on it, don't even really know what they're talking about. But I believe the Epstein files have a list of VIPs, very important people up in the government, people that make decisions for the rest of the world, and that they're involved with some kind of pedophilia or something very damning to their name and their reputation. And I don't know whether it's true or not. That's the most general way I could put it, like word around the campfire maybe. If I'm just not thinking for myself, I jump on the internet and I want something to say at the water cooler. I want something to tell my buddy on the internet real quick without even having a real conversation with them. This is just something that comes to mind. But I don't know at all. I don't know in the slightest, and I don't even know why I would want to care about something that, I mean, even if such a thing is true, it would just be detrimental for everyone and damning. And I don't think there's any point in focusing on it, man. I don't. And but I do, because unfortunately I fall. It happens. So that's why I really appreciate that you guys are doing what you're doing out here, man.
I appreciate your call, Calvin. Thanks for tuning in, man.
Of course, brother. Of course. Thank you too, man. Have a great day today.
Yeah, call me again.
I will, Nick, for sure. I got you, bud.
Nice. 888-775-3773. What was he saying there? He made me think about stuff. I asked him, they did what? It might be a good question. I just didn't know what he meant. What was I going to say about that? How to crystallize some of this? Why? If there's nothing more I could do, what is there to care about? Like if Trump said, hey, there's nothing here, whether it's a cover up or not, like there's no more caring to be done. Like, should it have been released and dealt with, then what would your caring do then either? Like, what am I saying here? I just can't think of a reason to. Some people have had some what sound like high IQ thoughts about this, like foreign influence of our government. But I don't even quite understand all that, if it's true or not. That sounded like the only high IQ stuff about it. But what else about it? Aren't you hearing some of this? Like, let me just move on. But aren't you hearing some of this? Like, aren't you seeing how most people aren't thinking about anything deep like that? It's just show us the list so we can know who the pedophiles are. We deserve to know. Let me see. What else? Let's keep it moving here. Let's see here. Thanks to everybody for the support. 888-775-3773. Thank you for all the coffee, someone. Russian bot. Appreciate that. Very generous with the coffees here. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, Rumble. Appreciate members. Thank you for that. Thank you for supporting. Right on. Let's see here. Yeah, Women's Forum this Thursday. Yep, that's this week. Okay, ladies listening here at the Bond headquarters, 7 p.m. Third Thursday of every month. Third Thursday of every month is the Women's Forum, so you don't want to miss those. Okay, ladies.